Don't hand the dog to me, Mama. I might squeeze him too tight.
Something in the water taught me how to crawl. Something in the water taught me how to fall. Something in my blood starts to take a
Good evening.
Hey, y'all. It's 2023. First official show now that we're into the new year. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How's the year treating you?
Well, it's been a wild one so far, actually. Won't get into any details, but it's very...
That sounds juicy.
It does. And it's like a lot of stuff been crammed into 9 days, it feels like. A lot of some lack of sleep. Maybe playing gigs, maybe doing things that ought not to. You know, I was reading back when probably a good 10, 12 years ago, Keith Richards' book came out. And Lynn bought it for me. And
You said, I think I'll do that.
there was a section in there where he claimed this is what he did. He would stay up. And I don't know, he's probably doing some kind of drugs at the same time as staying up. Maybe he wasn't.
Keith? Come on.
Yeah.
Not Keith.
But what he did was he'd push his body and brain, nervous system to the limit and see just how long he could stay up and what it would feel like. And he said that in itself, after about 36 hours, your mind is in some kind of a strange place, It's
your brain's bleeding.
It's almost, it's in some kind of it's in another dimension kind of like thing. It's almost like a drug,
Mm-hmm.
And I did that, not intentionally, but it's just one time back, was after I read that. So it was probably about 12 so many years ago.
Sounds intentional.
And
you read it?
No, I ended up, it was like, okay, I had to go get tires on the car at Walmart or something. And so I had stayed up all night the night before, and then I had to go get the tires put on the car. And you know how that is. You sit out there and wait on them.
Mm-hmm.
And that turned into another 8 hours. And by then I was, I had hit another wind, and caught another wind. And then so I got done there and went ahead and shopped in Walmart, probably bought some groceries. Then I got home, then thinking, well, it's getting close to supper time. I'll eat supper, then I'll lay down. That didn't happen for some other reason. And it kept carrying on, and I kept staying up. And I ended up writing 3 songs, one of them which was Song in the Vein.
Wow.
And
I think I'll stay up for 3 days.
And then there was 2 more right around that one, all about the same day or within that 30-something hour period. So there's something to be said for that. But anyhow, that's so far 2023 seems like it's going that way for me.
How many songs you written already in this?
Oh my God, look, this stack right here. This is from November, the last week of November to the first week of January. There's probably about 12 or 15 songs in this. Now, these are some co-writes too. She's you and I, and we had a
2 songs. I know
kitchen
of.
session over at the house on December the 4th. And Corey Bradley, Jason Chancey, Jason's daughter Kerrigan, your son Cohen, my son Connor, and me and you wrote this song, Ghosts of One Night Stands. And then about a week ago, we went over to Ryan Crosby's and got a classic country song out of the way called It Sure Ain't Funny. It is a real true country song.
Sounds like a classic.
It sounds like a classic. Yeah. And then me and my wife wrote a song back on December 11th down in Jacksonville, another kind of classic Patsy Cline type song called I Walk Alone. So there's some collaborations in here, and around that is just stuff that hits me in the head, and I can't shake it until I put it down. I wrote one the other day on the 5th. It's going to be the prequel to Dance with the Devil. It's going to tell the story of the John Carter, and the young girl that he killed. So, not to be confused with John Carter and Waycross. He ain't killed nobody yet.
That we know of.
That we know of. Anyhow, it's fun.
You should play some of them.
Yeah. I was wanting to being as how that this year's already kind of starting off strangely twisted and everything, and the GOP couldn't elect a House Speaker for days and days and days, and it was just like it was all messing and gomming. And this year just seems to have started off in a big mess and gom. I was thinking about this song that came on my YouTube the other day when I was sitting at home. It was an old murder ballad, and I listened to it again in all of its simplicity. It is one of the most real country songs that I've ever heard in my life. And I thought we'd start off with that just to show you where my head's at.
And what is it?
It's called Psycho, and it's by a country music singer-songwriter, music executive from back around the 60s called Eddie Noack. So
That's a good song.
y'all wrap your head around this if you can.
Can Mary fry some fish, Mama? I'm as hungry as can be. Oh, Lordy, how I wish, Mama, you could keep the baby quiet, 'cause my head's killing me. I seen my ex last night, Mama, at a dance at Miller's store. She was with that Jackie White, Mama. I killed them both, and they're buried under Jenkins' sycamore. Don't you think I'm psycho, Mama? You can pour me a cup. If you think I'm psycho, Mama, better let 'em lock me up. Don't hand the dog to me, Mama. I might squeeze him too tight. And I'm as nervous as can be, Mama. But let me tell you about last night. I woke up in Johnny's room, Mama, standing right by his bed, with my hands near his throat, Mama, wishing both of us was dead. You think I'm psycho, don't you, Mama?
Yeah, kind of.
I just killed Johnny's pup.
I just killed Johnny's pup.
You think I'm psycho, don't you, Mama? You better let him lock me up. You know the little girl next door, Mama? I think her name is Betty Clark.
Yeah.
Oh, don't tell me that she's dead.
Oh,
Mama?
Sounds,
Why, I just seen her in the park.
sounds so sincere.
oh.
She was sitting on a bench, Mama, thinking up a game to play. Seems I was holding a wrench, Mama, then my mind walked away.
My mind walked away.
You think I'm psycho, don't you, Mama? Didn't mean to break your cup.
How'd he break the
You
cup?
think I'm psycho, don't you, Mama? Mama, Mama, why don't you get up? Say something to me, Mama.
He done killed Mama with the cup.
Okay.
We should have had the camera on Justin because I don't think he's ever heard that one.
Well, then.
What's your
Now.
take on that, Justin? Fresh years.
Yeah, I definitely hear the Charlie Crockett influence. That,
Charlie Crockett.
that production,
Well,
at least as far as the
Charlie
sound.
Crockett was influenced by Eddie Noack. If anything.
That's what I'm
yeah,
saying. Yeah.
the,
And this came out in the 60s?
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Now look at that picture. It's the
And that's
Bates
what the
Motel
album,
kind
That's
of.
what the album looked like.
Mm-hmm.
Did the
I think it came out after the movie, right after the movie Psycho was real popular, and but
Yeah.
it sounds like they were like, well, it's about some crazy guy. Let's write a song about some crazy killer, but it doesn't have anything to do with the actual movie.
How did people take this when it came out? Bizarre.
Well, it was
Actually, this says 1949.
it came out. It was written in '49.
It says Psycho presenting Eddie Noack, 1949.
This
with
says the K-Arc and All-Star recording
yeah,
of
and
62,
those,
69.
I'm sure it was a re-release. Let's see what
What year did the movie come out?
movie was in the 60s,
Oh,
early 60s.
I should have known it wasn't '49.
Yeah, let's
Well,
see.
You read that it's
A little
Leon
bit
Payne.
in Wikipedia there. Now his real name was D'Armond Alexander Noack Jr., Eddie for short, born 1930, died 1978. He wrote A Day in the Life of a Fool, recorded by George Jones in 71. Another song by George Jones, Flowers for Mama.
Mama,
Mama.
Mama, I got you some flowers. Sorry about your cup.
And it's one of those things, like if you just heard it, like as background music, you would think, well, this is just classic country. And then
Yeah.
you listen,
Yeah,
you start listening to the lyrics and you're like,
And my mind walked away.
what's going on here?
Yeah, it is tainted for sure. Let's see.
So it had nothing to do with the movie. I was wrong about that completely.
Well, let's see what this says. Well, it does not have the year that it was written. So, story behind the song. Here we go. My phone won't die. We got story behind the song. And
it seems like a serial killer.
Just died. Okay. There is a link there, texassongs.com. Story behind the song Psycho. He looks like a devil, don't he? Blue-eyed devil. He looks slightly wow, what an album cover that is. There it is. Texas music, story behind the song. In the early decades of top 40 radio, pop music was saccharine, sweet, and rock and roll aimed at pubescent teens. Let's see. Psycho Billy, songs about suicide, murder, drug overdose, prisons, rubber rooms, serial rapists. And no song is as disturbing and unforgettable as Psycho, a lunatic account of murder from a killer's perspective. Most bizarre of it all, it was written by an admired blind Texas songwriter, Leon Payne, who wrote
Lost Highway
for Hank Williams, right?
Mm-hmm.
Leon Payne was born in 17 in Texas, blind in one eye at birth, known as the Blind Balladeer. He played with Bob Wills. I love you because. I guess that's the way that one. And Lost Highway. He wrote Psycho in 1968 after a discussion about serial murders with his steel guitar player, Jackie White. Jackie White would become a victim in the song.
Yeah.
Buried under a sycamore tree. Eddie Noack, well-liked and respected honky-tonk singer-songwriter, had fallen on hard times by the late 60s. And so he picked up the song. Oh, he became associated with Pappy Daly. That was George Jones' manager, Lefty Frizzell's manager.
So
how about that?
Psycho the movie came out in '60, so that had to be some kind of influence in there.
Surely it did. Well, it influenced that album cover for sure.
And the title. I mean, they don't
so
say.
He used some leftover recording time to record Psycho and 3 other murder and bedlam songs in 1968, including a song he wrote called Dolores, about a serial killer who accidentally murders his wife on accident.
He was already a serial killer, but I didn't mean to kill you.
Said by 68 he was already a heavy drinker. And what's that?
Dipsomania.
What is that?
Affected his career.
You know what that is?
Dipsomania. I do not know what that one is. Dipso.
And this is Noack, or?
Yeah, Noack. Maybe he dipped snuff.
Dipsomania.
He was a maniac. Dipsomania.
Alcoholism, specifically in a form characterized by intermittent bouts of craving for alcohol.
Huh? Okay.
Huh.
Isn't that alcoholic?
That just sounds like alcoholism to me.
No, y'all, I got it bad.
Let's see, roll on down. It says, radio stations of the day were not going to play that song, which included the murder of a little girl whacked by a wrench in a park and the killing of a puppy.
That was hard stuff.
Noack's chilling.
They killed his friend, his little girl, or almost killed his brother, the brother's dog, the mama.
Noack's chilling and emotionless first-person reading of the song is a tour de force. You actually believe the killer is singing. disc jockey in Grand Rapids played Psycho on a midnight radio show. And a cult hit was born.
He denied it when his job was threatened.
Wow. Oh, they were discussing that mass murder of those Chicago nurses in 1966. The song sprang out of that conversation.
Who killed the nurses in '66?
Richard Speck. I remember that one now.
I don't remember that story.
That was crazy. Another one of them crazy times, you know. Yeah, Manson.
He killed them all at once,
Chicago,
or just like a one?
Chicago nurses. They were all living in this kind of dormitory. Yeah.
He died in 78 of cirrhosis.
Elvis Costello recorded it in 1981 on Almost Blue album.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Today, it's recognized as a cult classic. Theme Time Radio Hour, Bob Dylan's show, Bob Dylan said, Eddie Noack, a singer and songwriter originally from Houston, Texas, who recorded for Stardate Records. He wanted to be a journalist, but we have enough journalists, not enough people who could sing and write like Eddie Noack. Eddie recorded the song Psycho, written by Leon Payne, a song about a serial killer. Quite understandably, it never got a lot of airplay, but it's become quite a bit of a cult favorite, as is Eddie Noack himself.
But what's interesting also is, you know, he sung it, but Leon Payne that wrote it, and then, you know, also wrote more mainstream songs.
Yeah.
That talk about range, you know.
Yeah, and that's really true with any songwriter. I mean, you can sit down and get immersed in a conversation with your best friend about Charles Manson, you know, and all of a sudden you sit there, you're attempting to write a song about it. I've written murder ballad before.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't based on anything, really. It just kind of fell into place, you know. And
you never know which direction a song's coming from or when it's coming.
You don't. But that right there is one of the prime best number one T-bone steak of murder ballads right there.
Yeah, but most murder ballads, they just kill one person.
Yeah, this guy was...
It's like every verse, somebody's going down. It might be the dog, might be mama, might be a little girl.
Very, very realistic was that one.
Mama?
Well, that's Eddie Noack. And written by Leon Payne. Let's play a good one by Leon Payne. Let's play the Hank Williams song, Lost Highway, and show people that this guy ain't all bad.
This has got my favorite.
It is
couple lines in it.
The Hank Williams song.
I'm a rolling stone.
That's not Hank.
Alone and lost.
That's
For
Leon.
a
Leon.
life of sin, I have paid the cost.
I guess this is him
When I
singing.
pass by,
That's Leon.
all the people
It's not
say, just
You know, I
another
just searched for Leon Payne, so
guy
yeah.
on the lost highway. Oh, turn it on, Mr. Turner.
You hear that old Bob Wills sound in there too.
I'll make your mama proud of you, boy.
And I Love You Because was another one of his big, big hits.
Yes. For a deck of cards and a jug of gin and a woman's lies built this road of sin. Oh, the day we met,
Hank did it a whole lot better.
And the words are different with Hank. So I guess Hank, my favorite lines
Some
that just
liberty.
passed were kind of reworded by Hank, which I like better.
Play a little bit of number 4 there. Everybody cut this one.
I love you because you understand, dear, every single thing I try to do. Oh, you're always there to lend a helping hand, dear. Most of all, I love you 'cause you're you. No matter what the world may say about me, I know your love will always see me through.
Hey, Ernest Tubb cut that.
Oh, I love you
Just
for the
tons
way
of it.
you never doubt me.
So
But most of all, I love you 'cause
he not only wrote
you're you.
great murder songs. Crazy Arms. He wrote that. That's another one. Crazy Arms. Crazy Arms. That was old Ray Price.
Now blue ain't the word
Yeah.
for the way
Old Ray
that
Price,
I
the Cherokee Cowboy, made that
And the
one.
storms are
big.
brewing in this heart of mine. This ain't no crazy
It says Crazy Arms was written by Ralph Mooney and Charles Seals.
Huh.
You're someone
Okay.
else's
So Leon
love
didn't
now.
write it. He just
You're
recorded
not
it.
mine.
Mooney.
Ralph Mooney.
I've heard that name before.
Arms that reach to
Oh,
hold
somebody new.
For my yearning heart keeps saying
He was
you're
Ralph Mooney was an American
not
steel
mine.
guitar player and was inducted into the Steel Guitar Hall of Fame
Yep.
in 1983.
Old Mooney. Moon. That's the classic stuff right there now.
He was with the Bakerfield Sound.
Yeah. I just got through reading a biography on Buck Owens, which was very interesting. I think I mentioned that, might have mentioned that on the podcast already, but it was, I didn't realize that Buck Owens had written Crying Time Again, You're Gonna Leave Me. Ray Charles, I can
Oh, yeah.
see that faraway look in your eyes. That was a Buck Owens original.
Wow.
Yeah. He was a songwriter. He cranking them out. Yeah. Hell of a businessman too. And he fought Nashville tooth and nail. He said, I'll do it without them sons of bitches. And they never accepted him or credited him with anything, you know, until very late in life.
Till Hee Haw.
Finally broke down. Yeah. And that was kind of like he made a hell of a lot of money off Hee Haw, and he made the decision to go into TV because it was going to be a show about country music, and he thought one needed to be out there, but
Well,
it
he did
portrayed
TV.
him as a
Didn't he
as
do
a
TV before that?
huckleberry. Yeah, he had the Buck Owens Ranch show,
Yeah.
which was on like medium market television stations and all. Hee Haw was on major market,
Right, but that was way later.
and that made 69, I believe, is when that started, 68 or 69.
Hee Haw did?
Hmm. I remember coming home from church, or we'd stop by our friend's house and sit there, and Daddy and Joe Ma could sit there and kick back in their recliners and say, "He all's coming on." They got a kick out of it. It was right when it first started out. I was thinking, oh my God, country, corn pone. This is corn pone. I can't do it.
Corn pone.
But it was good. It'd be about 3 more years before I'd come full circle and realize that the country music that I started out listening to at 3 years old was, in fact, just fine. It was good. It was all good. That's when that's kind of, 69 was about when Graham started flying burritos and all of that.
Is that when you realized that the early country?
I did not know about Graham in 69. It was 4 more years before I discovered Graham.
But when you discovered Graham, was that what made you go back and like the original country?
See, I had, me and Billy Ray had already started leaning in that direction anyhow, you know. It was Chris Christopherson.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was country had started sneaking into
Creedence was
rock at that point.
Kind of there, you know. Creedence was a little bit of that, you know. And let's see what other groups was coming around right along. The Eagles came out in 72, so you had Poco. You had Crosby, Stills, and Nash in 69. So that was some of the first albums that I bought. Was that, and that led you back to Byrds and Buffalo Springfield. Then you had Neil Young in there too, you know, and all of his solo stuff go along with Crosby, Stills, and Nash. There was a lot of elements of country. Nitty Gritty Dirt Band was another one that I had already bought, and so we were already leaning in that direction. And then when the Eagles hit in 72, it was automatically, and they said, this is country rock, okay? Still didn't know about the
influence,
the seminal influence of Graham Parsons. And that came about in July of 73 when I bought that magazine and read the article. And by then, Graham had already been in the Byrds. Sweetheart of the Rodeo had already been released. We never knew about that. Flying Burrito Brothers had already been out. We didn't know about that. GP had come out, and that was what was being reviewed in this magazine article that I read, and it spelled it all out right there. And from that point forward, we went backward and bought all of those early Byrds and Burritos and just discovered it from International Submarine Band. You had to go all the way back to that, you know. So it's pretty cool. You reckon we'll go out there?
I hope so. I don't have a plan B. That's what Andy messaged me today. Are we in? Are we all in on this? And,
yeah. Well,
I said somebody might have to burn my body in the desert before it's over with.
We got them two, the one in Tucson and the one in Pioneer Town that is done deal, except for the details, and they're slow getting back, but might have to call them on the telephone or something.
We're talking about trying to plan a tour.
The Stagecoach, Waycross Stagecoach. Yes.
A little run out to Cali and back. But,
in April, mid-April, and if
anybody's got any connections,
it would be fun. We already got some things lined up. Gulf Shores, Alabama, Tucson and Phoenix, Arizona, Pioneer Town, Joshua Tree, California, and and Athens, Georgia. So you put all that together and figure out a route. We definitely want to do that. Well, what's next? How about a little, I play a song. I got a little song here.
You got 15 over there.
Well, I want to pick one.
It's called The Love in You Was Once in Me.
How about, this is one I want to play. How about this?
You can hurt me and put me down. You may desert me and push me around. I will forgive you time after time, 'cause there ain't nobody like you. No, there ain't nobody like you. You can use me and bleed me dry. You may confuse me by telling lies forever and ever. I will be true, 'cause there ain't nobody like you. No, there ain't nobody like you. Go ahead and cut me. I won't cry as long as you let me. I'll stay by your side, 'cause there ain't nobody like you. No, there ain't nobody like you. Ain't nobody like you. No,
Something like that, anyhow. It really came off better the other night when I was half lit.
Well, that sounded good. I like it.
Nobody like you.
When did you write that one?
The other night, that was the night after we got back from Ryan's. Ryan was playing a little thing when we left. His carport was going.
Oh yeah, I remember.
The old rock and roll progression. So I had them words kind of going to that, and then I veered off into left field.
The only thing is I've written or co-writes with you here lately.
Well, it ain't no murder ballad.
Well, I wrote one. It's not really finished, but
What about that one you were playing over at the house the other night before we went over to Ryan's?
the one you said sounded like Draw Blood. That one, Ball and Chain.
Yeah, it was that one, and there was another one too that it was kind of dark. I think we found it on that SoundCloud.
Oh yeah,
One of them.
well,
You ain't never played that one on here.
I don't have the words, but or remember them at the time. But we recorded. Me and Connor recorded that over here. We haven't. I don't think we got a final mix on it or.
I liked it.
Runnin Blind. You probably don't have that where you can pull it up. I don't know if there's a mix. But it was that wasn't recent. That was 3-4 years ago now. I wrote that. It's one of them that doesn't really have a chorus or a hook or
which they don't need to.
Pull it up here real quick.
He's got the lunar recording system opening up, folks.
lunar.
Going to the moon.
I watched a cute little old CGI movie last night called, I think it was called Planet 51 or Area 51 or something. Based on an Earth-like planet of aliens, and an astronaut from the United States accidentally lands on there, and they're all running around. They're like 1950s Earth, but they're all, aliens, but they're dressed and homes and barbecues and pets and gas stations and comic book stores, movie theaters. It's all like 1957 Earth, and this astronaut lands on there, and he's the alien, and they're all freaking out, except for this one smart kid in high school who's devoted his life to studying solar system. It was funny.
I was trying to wait for the connection.
There ain't no connection. It's just,
yeah.
It's just a fun movie to watch with your grandkids Only I watched it all by myself. Still hungover from the weekend. My nerves was on edge. I was doing anything I could to
get grounded. So watch some space cartoons.
feel rounded. Space cartoons. Pizza. Cat in the bed next to me.
Cat's got her own bed. Cat in the bed next to me.
Cat in the bed.
You got a bed next to you.
Sci-fi cartoon, cat in the bed, pizza. That don't get you rounded.
This thing going to open. We need to take a break.
Yeah, we could do that.
All right.
We'll take a break and
we'll check the
think of some more cartoons to
check
talk
the
about.
score. Georgia and TCU Horned Frogs are going at it.
The
right
Horny
now.
Toads. We'll be right back, folks.
Something in my brain won't let me stray. Something in my veins gonna find its way. Something in the water taught me how to pray. When that cold black water finds its way into your veins, you'll never be the same.
We back, eh? Well, we're gonna listen to a little Sean Clark original, right?
Yeah, we didn't really have a mix of it with what we've been recording, so I figured I'd just play the thing. It's been a minute, but I got the words right here.
It's good.
It's called Runnin Blind. Being born running blind, pick it up, fall behind, turning loose, the ties are bind. There's a song within your mind. Find a love, lose a friend, reaching out, falling in. When it's gone, play pretend, and we do it all again, and we do it all again. Chasing lines across the page, singing rhymes of darker days. Burning sun lights the way, casting shadows upon grave. Being born, running blind, pick it up, fall behind, turning loose, the ties bind. There's a song within your mind. Find a love, lose a friend, reaching out, falling in. When it's gone, play pretend, and we do it all again, and we do it all again, and we do it all again.
That's Hank Williamsy.
Well, thank you.
You say that makes you cramp?
It's that bar chord the whole time.
Chord patterns. That reminds me of that. Justin, see if you could get on the internet there and pull up Tom and Jerry's cartoon called Krampus. I think that's the name of it. Just Tom and Jerry Krampus.
Krampus is the bad Santa Claus. It's the one that comes and steals the naughty kids and eats them or something. You know what I'm talking about?
Crambone.
Crambone, see?
Just play a little segment of that. At 1 minute 38, probably do it there, underneath there, right there. It's funny.
It's important for me to get the right coverage, and I only pay $16 a month. But I'm a better me.
This is pure genius right here now.
Well, I try to write a song, but they's like, well, that reminds me of this. Now, this is pure genius. Crambone.
That's kind of pretty before it gets started, ain't it?
I wonder who that is.
Froggy when he courtin', he did ride Crambo. Froggy when he courtin', he did ride Crambo. Froggy when he courtin', he did ride a sword and a revolver by his side. Crambo. Crambo killed flop doodle yellow bug, too lot of That's the hard part right in there, and then nephew. Crambo killed a la-ra-roll, flop-a-doodle yellow bug, too lot of diddy, come her up, top bottom it, Crambo. Ali-ole, and the yodel goes right in there somewhere, but it's a little too high for me. Oh, where will the wedding supper be? Crambo. Where will the wedding supper be? Crambo. Where will the wedding supper be? Way down yonder in a cotton wool in a eucalyptus tree. Crambo. Crambo killed lop-a-doodle yellow bug. That's that hard part again, right in there. Flop-a-doodle yellow bug, too lot of diddy, come around, top bottom it, Crambo. Got a guitar string on you, nephew?
You got that Roger Miller kind of thing, but it wasn't him. But I wonder who that was. Who? I don't know my phone.
I don't know who was responsible for the voiceovers or the voice unders. But right now, I'm going to do a voiceover for you because it's time for a tale of the week.
Yeah.
Crambone. It's just a little insignificant congestion. Nothing fancy. It's not the Kraken. It's not the COVID. It's not the flu. But Mark Twain, we're going to start this tale of the week off with a Mark Twain quote from 1927. Picture that little old handlebar mustache mouse saying this. Clothes make the man. Naked people have little or no influence on society. That's it. Mark Twain, 1927, said, clothes make the man. Naked people have little or no influence on society. Now, I've heard the opposite. Clothes don't make the man. But it seems growing up in the 50s and 60s, I was exposed to music made by bands made up of musicians who appreciated Samuel Clemens' outlook and took dressing up to a whole new level. Uniformity in uniforms was the expected route to go since the early days of country, folk, and rock and roll, performed by artists in high school gyms, theaters, civic centers, or at county fairs, hootenannies, and sock hops. In 1955, one of a handful of groups that ushered in the new sound, exciting kids to shake, rattle, and roll, and leaving grown-ups to shake their heads, rattle their fusty swords, and roll their skeptical eyes, was Bill Haley and his Comets, Rock Around the Clock. used under the opening credits to the film Blackboard Jungle in 1955. Bill Haley, a pudgy, moon-eyed frontman and unlikely poster boy for rock and roll, began his musical career in the mid-40s before forming Bill Haley and the Saddlemen in 1949. By then, he had had plenty of exposure to the styles and wardrobes affected by the country music acts of the times. Ernest Tubb formed his band, the Texas Troubadours, in February of 1943. And as was common practice, the lead singer was clothed in a costume that stood out from the regulars in the band behind him. Looking sharp on stage was a requisite for performers across all genres in those days. I saw it again and again on album covers, in magazines, and through the television, from Buddy Holly and the Crickets and the Kingston Trio to the Four Seasons and the Beach Boys. They all dressed alike. Then came the lightning bolt from across the Atlantic, the Beatles. 4 years before the Beatles reached their wildly successful perch among the musicians of the world, back when they were playing 6-hour sets at the Indra in Hamburg, Germany, before Brian Epstein agreed to manage them, they were happy in their leather pants, leather jackets, and cowboy boots, priding themselves as the anti-establishment of other uniformed counterparts like Cliff Richard and the Shadows or Rory Storm and the Hurricanes. Brian Epstein, a cultured and well-to-do owner of a successful Liverpool music store, agreed to manage the Beatles in 1962, and he set about refining their stage wardrobe by putting them in matching suits. Any concerns of selling out their art in favor of commercialism were quickly put aside as Epstein guided them into higher paying gigs, a record contract, and worldwide success. Following the invasion of the Beatles, garage bands sprang up all around Waycross, Georgia, with bands like the Faux Pas in their matching dashiki shirts and white jeans. See, that's sprawled out on that chair in front. That's a little John Randall Smith.
Oh, really?
That's Bill Smith right behind him. And second from the right, that's Jimmy Sistar on the right, Bill Ferris third to the left, and William Rowell on the far left. The Faux Pas. The Changing Times was another band in Waycross, and they dressed in psychedelic Nehru jackets. The Henchmen wore medieval ruffled shirts and black capes. Papa Fox was a band in my high school days in the early 70s that wore white double-breasted gangster suits and ties. And the Riots, who later became the Royals, simply opted for white shirts, dark slacks, and neckties. Down Home Band with Eddie Middleton, my first experience in a full-time show band, happened in 1975. And I was guided into the world of matching stage attire by former King David and the Slaves alumni, T. Wayne Scarborough and Eddie Middleton, because it was professional and it looked good. Well, at least we thought it did in the days of polyester and double knit. We were on the road 6 nights a week, and our wardrobe was expansive, not expensive. Many of our clothes were bought in Valdosta at the Fly Shop and the Famous store on Ashley Street. We had blue pants that alternated with light blue and white shirts, peach pants with tan or multicolored polyester shirts, blue pinstripe jumpsuits, blue checkered gauze shirts underneath tight white gonad-killing overalls, and our comfortable safari-looking ensemble we called the Jungle Suit. Prior to seeing the Beatles on Ed Sullivan in 1964, I used to watch country music shows on Saturday evening. A non-stop lineup featuring Porter Wagoner and the Wagoneers, Buck Owens and the Buckaroos, and Jimmy Dean. There's old Buck and them. That was taken right outside the Madison Square Garden in New York City. We didn't own a color TV set until '69, but you could see those sequin and rhinestone-studded outfits twinkling and wreaking havoc on our little black and white TV screen. Gram Parsons, formerly Ingram Cecil Connor III of Waycross, used to watch those old country western shows as well. It didn't take him long to alter the musical and fashion landscape of Southern California. After joining and dropping out of the Byrds, he formed the Flying Burrito Brothers with Chris Hillman, Chris Etheridge, and Sneaky Pete Kleino. In the late 60s, prior to the recording of the Burritos' debut album, Gilded Palace of Sin, Gram took the band to the workshop of famous Western wear designer Nudie Cohen for band outfits. Nudie and his staff did not disappoint, the result being 4 of the most dazzling, celebrated suits of the early cosmic American music movement. Called the Sistine Chapel Ceiling of Cowboy Attire by John Robinson of The Guardian, Gram's nudie suit was made of white cavalry twill, embroidered with naked ladies on the lapels, rhinestone-studded marijuana leaves, sequin-dotted poppies, 2-in-all and 2nd-all capsules, and acid-laced sugar cubes. On the back of his jacket was a giant red cross, casting off gleaming rays of blue, yellow, and red, interspersed with rhinestones. The front and rear pockets of his pants boasted more red poppies, and the legs were embellished with flames that crept down the sides all the way to his bell bottoms. Gram Parsons, like all those groups who came before, and some who came after, knew the importance of a good-looking stage outfit. He kind of summed it up for entertainers everywhere when he said, "Just because we wear sequin suits doesn't mean we think we're great. It means we think sequins are great."
Sequins hide the pain.
Yes. And that being said, we're going to lay to rest episode 58. It started out with the Psycho, that murder ballad from Eddie Noack, and we're going to peacefully lay it to rest now with a nice little sign-off. Before we go, though, we got these beautiful Something in the Water podcast T-shirts that are available to order on our website, somethinginthewaterpodcast.com.
That's right.
And from there, on there, you can also watch past episodes, 2 a month, that are free for your pleasure. And you can also...
Can you find the Patreon from the website?
Yes, sir.
Yep. So...
Jump right over.
You can follow us over there to the deep end for $5 a month and catch an extra episode, no holds barred episode.
And there it is right there, up there on the screen. There's our website, somethinginthewaterpodcast.com, presented by Caution Light Media. That's Justin Mercer pulling all the strings and making it all happen. So we thank you all again for watching, and we appreciate it so much. We'll see you next time.
Go Dogs.
When the cold black water finds its way across through your veins, it just might seal your fate. It just might seal your fate. It just might seal your fate.